In Tech Matters, FedRAMP Forward Part 2. In December of 2014, the Federal Risk and Authorization Management Program published a 2-year action plan called FedRAMP Forward. They wanted to integrate cloud solutions with a trusted internet connection environment and rise to meet the challenges posed by high-impact systems. It was an ambitious agenda, especially for an office with only a handful of team members. But recently, FedRAMP has come under fire. Critics say the approval process is too long, too expensive, and too opaque. They're calling for change. Enter FedRAMP Forward Part 2. For more, I'm joined by Matt Goodrich, FedRAMP Director from the General Services Administration's Office of Citizen Services. Matt, I know you've explained this program thousands of times, but for our audience, it bears repeating. What is FedRAMP and how does it work?
FedRAMP's a program for the federal government that makes sure that the government standardizes the way that we authorize cloud computing services for use across the government. Our motto is do once, use many times. Since cloud environments are used the same no matter what the customer is, it's important that we make sure that we authorize them consistently so that we don't duplicate our efforts, but also make sure that we keep the security bar high so that we can protect federal information, which is of the utmost importance.
Now, before we get to FedRAMP Forward Part 2, let's address some of this criticism. In January, Meritalk published a position paper called Fix FedRAMP and outlined concerns from cloud service providers about speed, cost, and transparency. This month, they published an article about complaints that your office issued veiled threats of retaliation against companies that spoke out. Here's an excerpt. Organizations have received calls from the PMO, Program Management Office, questioning why they have engaged in the Fix FedRAMP initiative and inferring that this participation will be bad for their FedRAMP business. Now, are any of these complaints justified?
They're simply untrue. I don't have enough time to make calls like that anyway. And our success as FedRAMP is as equally as successful for us as a program as it is for our vendors. So anything that we can do to help our vendor community get through FedRAMP is what we are here to do. We spent the last 6 months actually going out and talking to over 80 stakeholders, including cloud providers, our third-party assessors, and industry in general. So we've really been trying to make sure that we are actively out there, and those allegations are simply untrue.
Matt, Meritalk also reports some people are privately calling for your removal. Do you have any plans to step down?
I do not. I've been working hard at FedRAMP for a while, and I'm confident in my ability to lead this program and think we're doing great work and are incredibly successful so far. All
right, let's move on to FedRAMP Forward Part 2. Last week, you published a detailed plan on FedRAMP.gov. It includes some success stories. Here are a few. A 340% increase in enrollees from 500 to 1,700. A 50% increase in authorizations from 40 to 60. A redesign of the Joint Authorization Board to make provisional authorizations happen in under 6 months. So what's the plan, Matt? How will FedRAMP move forward?
So we're going to be having an event on March 28th, actually called FedRAMP Accelerated. As you mentioned in your intro, we put out a pretty aggressive plan about a year and a half ago, going over where we'd like to go over the next 2 years. And over the last 6 months, we've really been looking at sort of what our stakeholders want. And what they've expressed loud and clear is that they want our core services to be as effective and fast as possible. So we spent the last 3 months going through and doing a redesign of the way that we do our authorizations. We've had such a heavy focus on making sure that security is not traded for speed, so that rigor maintains the level that we want to see. But now it's time to see how fast we can make it, as well as keeping that rigor as high as possible. And so we've gone through a redesign process that we're excited to go out to industry and share on the 28th. We'll be having it at GSA's headquarters downtown. And there's parts of it that we'll still need to sort of finalize, but we're excited to partner with industry to make sure that all the final details are there, but we're ready to reveal it and show how we can make those authorizations happen in under 6 months.
Matt, you were very candid about FedRAMP's limitations. Here's a passage from your blog. We looked at our initial FedRAMP Forward plan. In reviewing it, we came to the conclusion it was overly aggressive. We were trying to boil the ocean. Does bandwidth have anything to do with this? Meaning, would the ocean be boiling if you had more people?
Sure. I mean, if you have more people, the more work you can do, right? But I think for us, when we look at what FedRAMP's trying to achieve, we really want to focus on specifically what it is that our customers need from us. And we were trying to do a whole lot. We were trying to harmonize industry standards. We were trying to launch a bunch of working groups. We were trying to do a whole lot of things, when specifically what our customers have said they want is they want more authorizations, and they want it to happen faster, and they want to know how they can engage with the program to make sure it's a government-wide program. So that's really what our key focus is going to be on over the next few months, and continue to do our customer outreach so that we know that we're keeping a pulse on what everyone wants and that we're effectively meeting what everyone's expectations are of the program.
Last week on Government Matters, we hosted Mike Hettinger and Rich Butel. They're working behind the scenes on a bill to complement FTARA called the Cloud IT Act. It has an entire title dedicated to FedRAMP. Have you read it? Will it help?
I have. I think that part of that bill would be helpful if it actually addressed what FedRAMP is. But in general, I think there's some good elements to that bill, and I'm excited to see where it could go.
Matt Goodrich, FedRAMP Director. Thanks for answering all the tough questions, Matt.
Thanks for having me.